A movie that we might be, kind of split onto is Up.
My
Pixar movie, in case they didn't mention it 500 times in the trailer.
My 11-year-old nephew is very excited to see it, and he's the target audience.
Here's
so
my
I think that's all that matters.
Well, here's my problem with the Pixar trailers, is do they have to keep reminding us at the start of every single movie they put out that here's all the other movies we've done previously.
From the people who brought you Toy Story and
Bugs
Monsters
Life,
Inc.
Monsters Inc., Cars, blah, blah, blah,
Listen,
blah, 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 blah.
If you had the Pixar track record where everything you do turns to gold, every movie is a box office blockbuster, you would be bragging about it too.
Yeah, but that's a built-in reason not to do that.
There's no...
Each of their movies has been hits. They haven't flopped one movie.
There's no studio in Hollywood that has that track record. No. I would brag about that too.
Yeah, but that's my problem, is they wasted a good, chunk of the trailer to do these things that we don't need. Show us the movie.
Well, the other children's movie, I guess, that was advertised.
Children's?
Monsters vs. Aliens.
Oh, I can't wait.
It's an animated movie. It looks really funny. I heard some familiar voices in there. Stephen Colbert
is the president.
I think I heard Kiefer Sutherland
in there.
So,
Reese Witherspoon. Yeah. Seth Rogen.
That's a star-studded cast. So just for the cast alone, I might have to go see it. But the movie looks really funny. Yeah,
my niece can't wait to see it. And I think this is the first time where I probably want to see it more than her.
Right.
So I'll just be like, oh, I guess I'll take you to see it. Be like,
so. Finally, the big one, probably the one that we're the most excited about.
Oh yeah,
Star Trek.
Yep, Star Trek.
Cannot wait. It looks great.
I put it in the so-so category only because I've seen like 90% of that footage already.
Yeah,
there's really nothing new.
There wasn't really anything new. It was just more to ratchet up your excitement.
Yeah. We did get the little thing where McCoy introduced himself to Kirk. And my dad kind of perked up when he saw that. So
it's basically critic proof. Everybody's going to see it.
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah. It's fast. It's graphic-y, so you can't do that. Speaking of movies, want to see it. We had a really bad week last week.
Although, thankfully, Taken did knock Paul Blart Mall Cop out of the top spot.
Thank you. But we did hear they're making a sequel, which makes us depressed. So I didn't get to the theater last week. Did you?
It was a busy week. Sorry, I didn't get to the theater either.
The Wrestler.
But this is a big week for new movies.
Oh, there's
a lot of new movies coming out. First of all, He's Just Not That Into You. Which I don't think either one of us...
I'm just not into that movie.
I don't think either one of us is going to see that. If you wait like 6 weeks, it'll be out on DVD.
I won't see it.
If you think about it from a business standpoint, it's a week before Valentine's Day. It's probably a good time to release it. It's a good date movie. What else do we have?
Coraline in 3D.
Wow. I saw some previews of that, and it looks so good. But let me just warn the viewers that while it's animated, it's not going to be for all kids, because there is a very sort of creepy aspect to it, so
be careful.
Yeah, it's not for young kids.
My 8-year-old niece, would you think it would be kind of...
if she gets scared easily,
not really,
then she'll be okay. But there are some parts of it that are... But it's directed by the same person who did The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Selleck, right? Is that his name?
Yeah. And it's the animation is genius. And it looks great.
Front runner for Oscar next year?
Absolutely, absolutely.
And then the other one, Pink Panther 2, Revenge of the Crappy Movie.
Steve Martin is just one of the great comic geniuses of all time. What the hell is he doing in these Pink Panther movies?
I have no idea.
Like, it doesn't even have Beyonce in it to make a good song for the soundtrack.
I was in the theater. They had, not a trailer for it, but before the movie starts, they have all those commercials. And people were just cracking up laughing, and I was sitting there like, what has the world come to? I was almost mad the jokes were so bad. So we'll just refuse to talk about that.
Yeah.
In limited release is Fanboys, which we both want to see. That's not playing anywhere near us.
Have been waiting for Fanboys for a solid 2 years. Went to a Fanboys panel, Comic-Con, 2 years ago. And saw scenes and couldn't wait. And finally the movie's coming out. And looks like it's going to have to be a drive if I want to see it.
Hopefully if it does well in the theaters, the small amount of theaters is, that maybe next week they'll bump it up a few more.
I guess.
A few more, like The Wrestler did, which it got, hint. You get a few more.
Are they paying you, MacGruber, to mention The Wrestler?
Pepsi.
Was that it on the
I think that's pretty much it.
Okay.
In the next few weeks, we're going to get a few more. Unfortunately, next week I think is Friday the 13th. So,
No.
on to speaking of the wrestler.
Wait.
What?
Do we need to?
What? No, we're good.
Okay.
No, I'll have to edit that.
Oh,
But
sorry. Okay, so
we're gonna have to cut through on the trailers.
Okay, so speaking of the wrestler,
Yes.
last week we told you about the story that Mickey Rourke might be wrestling Chris Jericho at WrestleMania, but now it looks like he backed off from it. It looks like he's still gonna make an appearance, but I think they're setting it up that Chris Jericho is gonna wrestle Ric Flair, who comes out of retirement, and maybe Mickey Rourke will be in Ric Flair's corner.
I'm fine with that. I think the bad press got to him, and people were kind of like, this is not a good move for you to do, especially being nominated for an Oscar. We talked about that last week.
I also think he may have jumped the gun and revealed it too quick. And
I think if they would have waited till after the Oscars, it would have been perfect.
And the WWE likes to roll those things out at their own pace. They have it very set up in a very clear way, and he probably jumped the gun on it.
Yeah. Other bad things.
I don't think it was bad. I thought it was the funniest thing I'd heard in a long time.
Well, not to confuse people. Last year during filming of Terminator, this is actually kind of old. Christian Bale went off on a rant against I think it was the cinematographer.
It is the clip heard around the world. You've probably heard it. It's been on all the shows. It's been making its way around the internet.
So quick thoughts of that. We don't need to tell people exactly what's on it, but what are your quick thoughts on that?
I thought it was hilarious. I honestly did. First of all, if you hear clearly from the clip, it sounds like this is the second time that this guy messed with Christian Bale in the middle of a scene. So clearly he, wasn't happy about it. And Christian Bale's one of those intense, sort of almost a method actor type.
Yeah, like he's into it.
He's in the scene. So having somebody mess up his scene, he seems like he would fly off the handle. But I thought it was hilarious because he just went off.
Yeah, if you look at that guy's filmography, it's like Mr. 3000, Into the Blue. There's some pretty
this is his biggest gig.
No, this is his biggest movie. So I'm not really defending that kind of behavior, but I can agree with people that say, like, you're catching someone at their worst moment, and you're kind of making that out to be who they are. Yeah. Like, I've done things like that before. And if people would have recorded that, I'd be embarrassed.
Right.
So we can't really judge him off.
Flipped out and had a freak out at some point. We're just lucky enough that nobody caught it on audio or video and put it on the internet. I've made people cry before. And it's not my biggest, moment. And I'm always happy when I make people cry.
Okay, well.
Poor
Adrian.
And the stories come out since then that they're fine. Yeah. They made up. Everything's all good. Yeah. They're friends again. So
nothing really to report. I don't know why these people are going TMZ and all that crap.
I think it's just a hilarious clip.
Yeah. Speaking of hilarious, last week Stephanie kind of got me. Right. She halfway got me with Stump the Host. So all week I've been plotting my revenge. I've been twirling my mustache and ready.
Let's have it.
So this is a weird question because it either will be the hardest question you'll ever have to answer, or you will prove your geekdom by getting this question correct.
Okay, let's have it.
A couple weeks ago, Stephanie and I were having a conversation about The Kids in the Hall. She told me to watch the movie, which I did. It was horrible. But we both love the show. So here's my question. Name the kids in the Hall.
All 5 of them?
All 5 of them.
Dave Foley.
Yes.
Scott Thompson.
Yes.
Mark McKinney.
Yes.
Kevin McDonald.
Yes.
And Bruce McCullough.
Woo! Nerddom.
So apparently I am queen of the nerds.
And the geeks.
Yeah,
so there you go.
Because that was no problem.
Wow. And on a high note, that's the best way ever. Check out our blog, inskateblog.blogspot.com. Every single day we are approaching our historic 100th blog.
The big 100th blog.
Yes. I don't know what we get for that. I'd have to check the 100th anniversary probably.
Oh, okay.
I don't even think maybe it's silver. Paper.
I don't think so.
Okay, well, I'll look it up and let you know. So check out the blog, check out next week, and good night.